The most purchased sleep supplement in the world is not melatonin. It is magnesium, and if the marketing is to be believed, it is also a muscle relaxer, a blood sugar regulator, a bone builder, a blood pressure tamer, and a calming agent for the nervous system, all in one tablet, which should be your first clue that something is off, because nothing does everything. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of reactions in the body, that part is true, and roughly half of adults in Western countries eat less than the recommended amount. That part is also true, and from those two truths an industry has built a cathedral. Today I am going to do something unusual, even for this channel. I am going to separate what the magnesium research actually shows about sleep from what the label implies, including the one form that crosses into the brain, the studies that disappointed me, and the exact cases where magnesium genuinely helps, because this is a supplement that works, for some people, and the honest version of that sentence is rarer than it should be. Start with the mechanism, because magnesium stories always start there, and the mechanism is real. Magnesium sits at the gate of the main calming receptor of the nervous system. The receptor is called gamma-aminobutyric acid A, or the GABA-A receptor, and it is the same receptor that sleeping pills target, and magnesium modulates it, nudging the gate toward the open position, which quiets neuronal firing. Magnesium also helps regulate the stress response system, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is the machinery that produces cortisol, and the nighttime cortisol rise is the enemy we met in the 3 in the morning video. Low magnesium status is associated, in observational work, with higher stress reactivity and worse sleep, and correction of a deficiency would be expected to calm both. So the biology is plausible. Plausible is where science starts, not where it ends. The forms, because this is where the marketing gets creative. Magnesium oxide, the cheapest and most common form, is poorly absorbed and mostly useful as a laxative, and if your sleep supplement lists oxide first, you are mostly buying plumbing. Magnesium citrate absorbs better and still leans laxative at higher doses. Magnesium glycinate is magnesium bound to glycine, the calming amino acid we covered in our glycine episode, and it is the form most sleep clinicians reach for, gentle on the gut, and the glycine adds its own mild sleep signal. Magnesium threonate is the interesting one. It was developed specifically to cross the blood-brain barrier. In a project from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and animal work showed it raises cerebrospinal fluid magnesium and improves synaptic density, which is why it is marketed as the cognitive form, and the price is roughly triple the others. The honest status of threonate is that the brain penetration is real in animals, the human sleep data is thin. One small trial in older adults showed modest improvements in sleep quality measures, and no large trial has yet confirmed the cognitive claims in humans. You are paying for a plausible mechanism and an early report. Now the trials, and this is where I lose the enthusiasm, and you should too. The most cited human study is a double-blind trial from 60 older adults, published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences, testing magnesium chloride for 8 weeks. The results were real but modest. Sleep time increased slightly, sleep onset improved slightly on some measures, and the sleep hormone measures, melatonin and cortisol, shifted in the favorable direction, while serum cortisol trended lower. Respectable, small, and in older adults with marginal intake, which is exactly the population where you would expect an effect. Then there are the failures. A randomized trial in healthy young adults with good magnesium status found no significant sleep benefit over placebo. Reviews of the evidence conclude, almost apologetically, that the data is limited and inconsistent, and that the strongest case is for people whose intake is low. Which brings us to the sentence that summarizes the entire magnesium sleep story. If you are deficient, correcting the deficiency can help your sleep, because deficiency itself fragments sleep and heightens stress reactivity. If you are replete, the evidence says the tablet above your baseline does approximately nothing, because the body excretes what it does not need, and no receptor becomes calmer than calm. Before the candidate list, a note on testing, because everyone asks whether to test. The standard blood magnesium test measures serum, but almost all body magnesium lives inside cells and bone, so a normal serum level can coexist with a real deficit, which is why doctors sometimes call it the least informative common lab value. A magnesium loading test, rarely done, measures retention, and is more honest. In practice, the pragmatic option for most people is exactly what the trials did, a supervised trial with a paper log, 4 weeks, dose and timing fixed, because the outcome that matters is not a number on a report, it is the texture of your nights and your days. The blood test still has value in one direction. If serum is low, you are truly deficient, and correction is not optional, and your doctor should be involved, because low serum magnesium usually points to something upstream, medication, gut, or kidneys, so who should actually consider it? The candidates write themselves, people over 60, because absorption falls and intake falls with appetite. People who drink alcohol regularly, because alcohol flushes magnesium through the kidneys. People on proton pump inhibitors for reflux, because those drugs reduce absorption over months and years. People with type 2 diabetes, because insulin resistance increases urinary losses. Heavy exercisers, because sweat takes minerals. And anyone whose diet is a parade of processed food, because refining grain strips most of its magnesium, and the modern processed diet is, mineral for mineral, a low-grade magnesium depletion program. If 2 or 3 of those boxes describe you, a trial is reasonable. If none do, save your money and buy a bag of almonds, which delivers magnesium with fiber and protein attached. A practical food note belongs here too, because food first is not a slogan, it is dosing. A handful of pumpkin seeds delivers roughly 150 milligrams of elemental magnesium, an ounce of almonds, 80, a cup of cooked spinach, over 150, half a square of dark chocolate, the real kind, 70% and up, another 50. Beans, whole grains, avocado, the pattern is old-fashioned and cheap, and the mineral comes packaged with fiber, protein, and fats that slow the absorption into a steady curve, which the body tolerates better than the tablet pulse. If your diet already contains these daily, the odds are good that you're replete, and the tablet is paint on a white wall. If your diet is beige and packaged, the odds flip, and even the food change alone, before any supplement, may move your nights within a month, because you would be correcting the actual deficit, which returns us to the only sentence this video truly needs. Test the question, am I short, before asking the question, does it work? The protocol, for those who trial it. Glycinate or threonate if the goal is sleep and calm. Glycinate for the gentler price. Threonate if the goal is the brain, with the honesty that the brain evidence is early. Take it in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before bed, with or after dinner, because magnesium on a full stomach is gentler and absorption is steadier. Dose around 200 to 350 milligrams of elemental magnesium, which is the number that matters, read the label, because a 1,000 milligram tablet may deliver only a fraction as elemental. Give it 2 to 4 weeks, because mineral status rebuilds slowly. Unlike a sedative, nothing happens on night 1, and the people who quit after 3 nights quit before the curtain rose. And run it honestly, the paper log beside the bed, 1 to 10 each morning, because expectation is a powerful anesthetic and paper is not. The cautions, and magnesium has real ones, which is why it deserves respect. Kidney disease is the hard stop, because kidneys clear magnesium, and impaired kidneys plus supplements equals rising blood levels, which is dangerous. People with heart block or significant heart disease should talk to a doctor first, because magnesium slows conduction. It interacts with antibiotics in the tetracycline and quinolone families, and with thyroid medication, so separate the doses by several hours. High doses cause diarrhea, which is dose finding by a different name. And the total picture matters, because magnesium is added to many products now, antacids, laxatives, sports drinks, and the combination can quietly add up. If you take any prescription, the pharmacist is a free and underused resource. And a word about the cortisol connection specifically, because the title of this video promises it, and it deserves its own careful paragraph. The nighttime cortisol rise, the 3 in the morning chemistry we have discussed, is regulated partly by magnesium-dependent machinery, and the observational links run both ways. Low magnesium accompanies high stress reactivity, and high stress increases urinary magnesium loss, a genuine vicious circle. In the older adult trial mentioned earlier, evening cortisol trended lower in the magnesium arm, and sleep improved, but I want to be careful about what that means. Magnesium is not a cortisol blocker, and if your 3 in the morning waking is driven by conditioned arousal, by the clock-checking and catastrophizing loop, no mineral interrupts a learned circuit. The honest division of labor is this. Magnesium may lower the chemical background noise, making the waking less likely, and the behavioral work, the stimulus control, the reframe, addresses the circuit itself. Do both if the waking plagues you. Expect neither alone to be the whole answer, and distrust anyone who sells a mineral as a cure for a habit. And now the part where I earn back your trust with a confession. For 2 years I took magnesium glycinate nightly, convinced it was part of why my sleep held up. Then I ran the experiment this channel always preaches. 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off, paper log, same wake time. The logs were identical. I was replete, My diet was rich in greens and nuts, and the tablet was painting a wall that was already white. This is the most common outcome for healthy eaters, and it is the outcome no advertisement will ever tell you, because there is no money in telling the replete that they need nothing. The people magnesium saves are the deficient, and the only way to know roughly where you stand, short of a blood test your doctor can order, is the trial, run honestly, with paper. So the verdict, in one paragraph. Magnesium is a real mineral doing real jobs, and its sleep benefit is real for the inadequate intake population, which is large, and includes many people over 50. For the well-fed and well-supplemented, the benefit rounds to zero, and the honest framing is not will magnesium fix my sleep, but am I short of magnesium? And that question has an answer, and the answer is a trial or a blood test, not a checkout page. Fix the deficiency if it exists, through food first, pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, dark chocolate, beans, and supplements second, and let the calming receptor do what it does when it finally has its cofactor. And if 4 honest weeks pass with no change, close the bottle with pride, not disappointment, because you just ran the most rigorous experiment most supplement buyers ever run, and the result, nothing to fix, is a good result. And one closing reflection on why this video needed to exist at all. Magnesium is the perfect case study of how supplement information breaks, because every claim in the cathedral is technically adjacent to something true. It is involved in hundreds of reactions, true. Many people underconsume it, true. Deficiency impairs sleep, true. And from those truths, the leap is made that everyone benefits from a tablet every night, which is false, and the falseness is invisible because no one can feel their own serum levels. The supplement conversation would transform overnight if everyone ran the honest 4-week trial, on, off, paper, patience, because the trial converts marketing claims into personal data, and personal data is the only currency the body accepts. That is the deeper skill this channel tries to teach, not which bottles to buy, but how to test any claim on the one subject you own, yourself, with enough discipline to believe the result. If this kind of verdict is useful, subscribe, because I read the trials so you do not have to, and one supplement or study gets the full treatment every week. And leave a comment with your form and your result, glycinate, threonate, citrate, or food, worked, neutral, or plumbing, because the comment section is becoming the most honest magnesium survey on the internet. This has been Think Sleep. Take care of your nights, and your days will take care of themselves.